What's going on, everyone? Kami here, and I'm in Droxus. Well, I mean, I'm playing in Droxus. I've had a lot of suggestions for specific guides, whether it be positioning, champion guides, map guides, and I found one that I really liked, and this is going to be going over certain jumps or certain tips for each map. Some of them might be champion specific, but I try to keep them as general as possible to make sure that every champion could use it. It was harder than I thought it would be though. Now before we jump into every single map, I want to make sure that everyone understands the term wall jump. When you jump in this game, there's a set height that each champion jumps at. If you are near a wall and you look at it, you will jump higher. If I don't look at it, I won't jump higher. And then the wall has to be as tall, I would say about as your chest, and that'll give you the extra jump height that you need. This one's gonna go over a lot of mount jumps you can do to get you into areas that people may not know about. Without further ado, let's jump in. Man, honestly, Ascension Peak was kinda hard, so we're gonna start off with a super obvious tip. Don't fall down in the well, you'll die. Specifically, if you're going up against a Khan and he's hovering around here, don't go near him. He'll throw you in. And lastly, oh my god, is that a whale? How have I never noticed these things? Over here where the house is and the stairs are and whatnot, if you have a champion that can get across this gap, it's a great way to flank. It's kind of a champion specific one, but it's kind of broad because like Willow, BK, Eevee, and Droxus, like there's a lot of people that can do it. I'm a little sad I decided to go alphabetically because this map is kind of lame, but if you stick around, I promise you they get better and I bet you learn something. So there's two spots in this map that allows you to get a really good angle down these two side bridges. On the left side, it's either going to require you to do a wall jump with your mount or a specific champion ability. On the other side, it's a lot easier, just jumping up here, don't even need a mount. A few notes about these gates. One, you can shoot through them. And two, when the enemy runs through, the gate stays down for a pretty long time. Now you yourself cannot run through the enemy gate, but if you set yourself up in a little bit of a flanking position, right around the corner, you can wait for the enemy to run through, and you can sneak in behind them. And a couple of champion specific tips. With Kinessa, you can teleport over the gates. And also, there's not really a skybox above these roofs, so Eevee can kind of just soar right over them. Alright, here we go, BRIGHTMARSH. This mount jump can get you up on the high ground without needing to use an ability. Just requires you to jump, make sure you use the wall jump with the mount, and then jumping on over to the ledge. Incredibly helpful for champions that normally can't get up here. And a champion specific tip, if your team is pushing up mid and you have a champion able to go around here on the right side, it's pretty good. You can make it in one go with like Eevee and Droxus, but I'd kind of suggest that you save your cooldowns and make a pit stop right here on this platform to make sure you have all your abilities up when you jump into the enemy spawn. Now for Fish Market, this one's going to be a little bit sniper oriented, and it's mainly things that I've seen people do in Puff. Alright, Fish Market. This one's going to be catered to you snipers out there, and they're mainly bad habits that I've noticed them doing. One, I've seen snipers go out here, and while it can cover point pretty well if you just have a bot sitting on there, it really has a lack of vision for the rest of the map, and it's just not a good spot to hide. I could see it being useful maybe as a surprise starting off, if the team doesn't have flanks or other long-range champions to fight against you, but other than that, don't stay out here please. And the second sniper tip is you can go over here near your spawn and catch the enemy as they're riding up on the left side, but as you can see, once the payload pushes past this point, this spot becomes very, very bad. So again, don't overstay your welcome in these sniping spots. I mean, that's all I really got. Fish Market sucks. Over on the side with the stairs and with the giant frog vomiting water all over into the ocean, you can actually go behind it. Most people know this. Now, if you played Frog I'm sure you're aware that snipers like playing this map because of this wall jump you can do right here. This bot seems very confused. This is mainly for Strix and Kinessa, but anyone with like single fire, high damage shots can make use of this really well. Now another spot that gives you a great vantage point is this tree, but you have to jump up at a very specific spot. Now the spot is one of the creases. It's not this crease, but it's the crease over on the inside mostest area. That's a word I just made up here. You'll want to line yourself up with a crease, hit jump, and then tap forward, and you'll get up on top, and now you can use this tree as cover as you're strafing in and out, trying to kill the targets. Now, I've preached this multiple times in my videos before in the past, and that spawn rooms have different exits, and some are usually a little bit faster, but with Frozen Guard, the one with the icicle has a much faster route to get to the point compared to the other one. And speaking of getting to the point as fast as possible, you can use a wall jump on your mount while looking at this pole to get across, avoiding having to run around the stairs. The timing can be rough, but with a little bit of practice, it'll become second nature. Here's a mistake I've seen a lot of players make. When they're running towards the point, they like to go around the top like so. There's actually a second route that can get you to the point about 1 second faster. All it requires you to do is to run the same way you were before, but just drop off below the bridge. A lot of people like to buy Master Riding on Ice Mines, which is good, but it makes this drop off a little bit harder. As you can see, you bump your noggin if you just try to drop off. Now, depending on what level of Master Riding you have, you're gonna have to start jumping a little bit earlier so you don't clip the wall. That's Master Riding 1. Here's Master Riding 2. And if you're ballsy enough, here's Master Riding 3. Now this next tip is kind of interesting. I found it while I was going through all the maps. I don't know how useful it'll be, but it involves this fence. If you take note of this pillar right here, if you jump to the left of it, you'll actually be able to kind of clip yourself on it. If you keep walking up the wall, you're randomly gonna fall off. It happens about right here. But if you jump right before that spot, you're able to get into another spot that allows you to clip on there, and it kind of gives you an alternate path to get up on this high ground. I don't know, I thought it was cool. So this first one for Jaguar Falls requires a mount. It's got limited use, but I think it could be useful if the enemy team is pushing in the payload and it's around that choke point right there. You'll just want to jump up here. Make sure you're looking at this wall to get the wall jump, and then jump around the corner to hit the bridge. Other champions with movement ability like an Eevee and Droxus, Pip would be really useful to get up here with weightless. Other than that, it needs a mount. Also, Pip is really good at jumping and using the wall jump to get up there. I should have picked Pip, whoops. These next two tips can be used with any champion. If you're firing down here and team is pushing you and you need to fall back, but you don't think you're going to be able to get back far enough, you could give them the jukes while hiding in this little nook. I haven't seen a lot of people use this, but it's here. It's here for a reason. The last tip is something that I came across when I was trying to jump on top of this Jaguar over here by the falls, and I found this spot right in front of the Jag that you can jump up to, and it's not going to push you off. If your team is pushing over on the right side and you want angles on the point, it's going to be really hard to shoot them. Some champions are shorter, you won't be able to see them, and if you can see them, you probably can just see the tip of their head. Jumping up on this Jaguar just gives you a better angle to shoot people on point. Starting it off, we're gonna have the wall jump you can do on the mount to save you the trouble of having to walk around and up the ramp. It just requires you to hug this wall, look at the wall, then jump. Easy peasy. And it's huge considering the fact that when we go up into high ground, we're gonna be meeting each other at the same time, and getting up there just even a half a second earlier to be dismounted and ready to fire at them could be the difference from winning high ground and losing it. Now this one's gonna be very specific, but you can actually fly around and end up over on the corner on the enemy side without having to go the normal route where they expect you. It's gonna require a lot of mobility, so people like Eevee and Androxus are about the only people that can actually pull this off reliably. As I mentioned before, getting up on this high ground is really good for certain champions, but there are a couple champions that I don't think a lot of people know that can get up there, and one of them is Pip. Pip is going to require you to use the wall jump plus his weightless, and it revolves around this little stone right here. You're going to want to get on this railing, this wooden railing, and put yourself up against this stone and activate weightless. Right when you activate weightless, you're going to want to look to the left side, and bam, you got high ground. The other champion that can get up on high ground is Genos, but it's going to require a specific loadout, and that is Space Jam at a 2. And you'll need to start up here on high ground, activating Stellar Wind, doing the wall jump to get on top of this little hut, and then doing another wall jump to get on top of high ground. I wouldn't say as useful with Pip, because Genos can heal through walls and from a pretty long range, but still pretty cool. He can also make it up here, which Pip can make it up here too, and other mobility champions, and this spot is really great for poking at the point while the enemy team is like, where the hell is this shot's coming from? So Shadow Desert is a pretty flat map, but as you're capturing the point, if you want to look to zone, a couple of spots that are really nice is right there and right here. This requires you to jump up on the top, and you can get a very long sight, especially with like a sniper or a long range champion. You can spam down this area to dismount as they're trying to run back into the point. And on this middle section, again, you can go all the way up on top to get good vision, and you can use this, whatever the hell this thing is, as cover. Now this second tip isn't really a tip, because I'm pretty sure that 99% of you out there that have played this map know about this. There's this route when you're pushing into the tunnel area that kind of goes out, and I thought it was just kind of a hiding spot, like I could just kind of hide over here and be like, ooh, they can't see me. But actually, if you run all the way back, you'll notice this is a complete different flank route. Again, I'm pretty sure everyone knows of this. I just thought it was hilarious that I didn't. The first one is in the scenario that the payload is captured and your team is kind of pushing up near the enemy spawn, and you want to get back to them as fast as possible while getting high ground. If you stay on your mount as you're running back and jump on top of the fidget spinners and use the wall jump right here, you can be able to make it to that platform incredibly easy. And the second one is gonna be useful if the enemy team is rushing fidget spinners, like all of them. Like they just have a really close range, tanky comp, and they're just trying to take fidget spinners and start harassing the point. If you wanna be able to shoot at them from above and you're already down here, you can use this jump off of here using the wall jump and make it onto that location there. You can do this with Master Riding 1, it's a lot easier, but with Master Riding 0, the timing is very strict. My tip is to get all the way close to it until it stops you, jump, and then tap over at the last second before you're about to land. This gives you the most amount of running startup speed you can get. Ooh, okay, got it on my second try, but still, not that useful because you can just jump from the top, but I thought it was super cool you can make it without Master Riding. Woo! Over on the church side of Stone Keep, there's this area you can jump up to get high ground, and you used to not be able to make it with your mount. They like bugged out the mount's jump thingy, I don't know, it was weird. But now you can do it, so this is more of a PSA. You can do this now, you don't always have to jump off your mount. As for a champion specific tip, if you want to go for a flank with someone with a lot of mobility like Eevee or an Androxus, you can actually make it over this Ivy wall just by using their mobility to get over there. Keep in mind, if the enemy team gets wind of it, you're kind of out in the open, but if you can get back here without them knowing, it could be a huge deal. Now, these last couple of tips are going to involve taking keep side. First thing is you can dismount people running through here, and you can get there a lot quicker, and you just kind of got to pre-fire, and as they run across, you can shoot them. Now, another way you can dismount them is being able to shoot through these stairs. Now, these stairs are a tricky son of a bee. So if you get around this corner and you aim towards the feet and fire, you can hit them and dismount them. It's kind of hard to hit them from this far away. If you scoot up to this box and jump on it and barely peek around the corner, you have a really good angle to just start lighting people up through the stairs. I honestly found projectiles like Drogos or Eevee spamming through to be probably the best effective way to do this, because when it hit, it hurts. Timbermill, our favorite map, right? Now we all know we can run over here on the right side, go up these stairs, and bam, we're on top of the roof to kind of pressure the snipers if we need to, or go around for a flank. There's actually a faster route that'll get you on top of that roof a couple seconds earlier. It's slightly more dangerous because you're susceptible to being shot by a sniper, but if you grab Master Rider, you can get there first. Just go through the teleporter, use the wall jump, and you're there. And if you kind of angle yourself, you should be blocked by the tree by the time the sniper will be through the teleporter and noticing you're jumping across. And speaking on top of these roofs, there's an interesting little notch in these boxes that I found where if you jump, you can get on top of it and you're actually not peeking your head over. Not that useful, but you could use it to peek around the corner to get some shots, and you can also jump on top of it. Kind of a bad spot, but who's gonna expect this? Another spot I found for the Kinessa, and you can get up there with anybody that has mobility, is if you go up near this candle little chandelier, you're gonna notice if I keep moving my crosshair a little bit around, you're going to see that the highlighting is right above it. And if I let go, you then glitch up there. So if you think enemies are coming up or you want to kind of get the jump on them, you can get glitched up there. If you use like Androxus or something to get up here, you just have to hold backwards while you're up here so you prevent yourself from sliding off. It's kind of silly, but that was funny. And since we're on the topic of snipers and Kinessas and Timbermill, yeah, the last tip is going to be mainly for Kinessa because she has really long range and she also has the ability to have mobility to go up on top of places. If you can't make it out of spawn and they're zoning you back pretty hard, you can teleport up on top of this little mini roof and you get a really good angle on people if they're on top of your little tower area. Sure, we call it that. And you can also just see all down here in the midsection. Give a little cover fire for your team as they're trying to make their way out. Similar to Frozen Guard, this left entrance will get you to the fight much faster than the other two being that far back. And since you're already heading over this way, stop off at this corner and spam down this lane. You'll get there fast enough to be able to dismount any enemies running this route. Other than that, there wasn't really much to look at on this map, except for this freaking crystal. This crystal has killed me more times than I'd like to admit, and I'd like to imagine that a lot of other players will say the same thing. Here's some quick facts that I've learned about it. About every 6 or 7 seconds, the crystal will raise and lower for no reason really. If you are trying to go across the crystal, you're gonna want to try to avoid it at all costs. If you hit it, it will like do some weird stuff, glitch you, and then you're just gonna drop and die. The only time you're ever gonna want to really purposely bump the crystal is if something weird happens while you're up in the air and you need to slow down your momentum as you're dropping. Other than that, stay away from it. All right, one cool thing I found you could do off the crystal is you can use a movement ability like Cassie or Leon and get onto the point right over this wall. I'm sure there's other champions that can get to other places, so if you found any, let me know down in the comments. There's nothing else to say about this crystal other than it sucks, and it really shouldn't be in the game. There should just be an upward wind thingy that's going up without a crystal. They gotta add in crystals somehow, I guess. All right, and that concludes every single map. I tried to give you some tips that should be helpful, but some of them might be a little bit far out there because some of these maps kind of just blow. That being said, I hope you learned some stuff, but for now I'm gonna head out of here. I'll send you out with some clips of me trying to learn the crystal mechanics on Warder's Gate with Cassie. You get to listen to her fantastic death audio over and over again, just like I did. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm not gonna be one of those people who asks you to like and subscribe, so I'm not gonna ask.